What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, which is probably the reason why you even clicked on this video, today I'm gonna be sharing with you guys some of my favorite makeup products for under a $5. It is no secret that I love the cheap stuff. Like, I like cheap wine. I've got cheap wine here. Nearly like broke the glass then. I like cheap stuff. If it's good, if it saves me money, I'm like, hell yeah. I have tried out a lot of makeup in my time, a lot of high end, a lot of very, very affordable. And like the thing is with me is, don't get me wrong, I love some bougie ass shit, but I also really, really love, like probably more so, I love cheap stuff. Like it's all well and good me finding like an amazing foundation, but then it costs 50 quid. If I can find a foundation that rivals that for under a $5, I'm like, this is why I do this job. Also because it means I can sit here and film videos and drink wine, and I was gonna say no one judges me. There's definitely someone out there judging me. We're in a pandemic right now, so stop judging me. Stop it. Yeah, I mean, I just don't care. I don't care if I've got a tenner in the bank or 10 grand in the bank. If I can find myself a cheap product that works just as well as the high end stuff, I'm like, gimme. And so yeah, today I thought I would sit down with you guys, do a little crash course. I'm gonna try and whiz through these as quick as I can because I've got a lot, and basically just talk to you guys about loads of good products that are super cheap. Like I say that everything's under a $5 here, but there's things that are like £1, like 75p, like 2 quids. And these products are good. Not just good for the price, like they're just banging. They could go and put like an extra 0 on the end of the price tag and I'd probably still be like, I'm gonna repurchase that. So I've tried to organize everything in terms of like primers, foundations, concealers. And so yeah, that's enough time wasting from me. If you guys like these videos, I don't normally say this at the start of my video, but if you do like these kind of videos, let me know. Please subscribe if you're into this kind of thing. Please give this video a thumbs up. Also, I do wanna say, because I've actually had a few nasty comments recently about like my new setup, about it being crap quality, and I'm like, yeah, if you click on like this thing down here and your internet allows it, you will be able to watch this in 4K, or at least be able to watch it in 1080 as normal, but it should be pretty crisp. Like, it shouldn't be blurry, okay? So yeah, get a little pen and paper ready, and if you guys wanna hear all about my favorites under a $5, please keep watching. All right, so first of all, I'm gonna start off with primers. Now, I really am gonna try and whiz through these. If I talk too much about them, then we will literally be here for like 2 hours. I don't know about you, I got stuff to do. I'm sure you guys have got stuff to do, even if that's just like sitting in bed, just eating ice cream, like that's way more important than this video, okay? All right, so first of all, I'm gonna start off with this Body Collection primer. Now, I'm not gonna be able to do cutaways and like on-screen prices for everything, but as always, links to everything will be down below. And like I said, everything is under a $5 here, so it's all really, really cheap. But yeah, first up is this illuminating primer from Body Collection. I mean, there's not too much to say about it. I'm not that into primers, we all know that. I think I've said that in every single video for like the whole of 2021 so far. This stuff just makes you look super, super glowy. Like you probably can't see much, but it does just give you a really nice sheen on your skin. Vegan as well. Vegan and affordable. Then we have a really good hydrating primer, which is from Essence. So I've used this one quite a lot actually. It's the Prime Studio Hydrating and Skin Refreshing Primer, 24-hour hydration and coconut water and hyaluronic acid. If you're not that into like stereotypical primers like me and you just kind of like a moisturizing sort of primer, this is so damn good. You can get it from Wilkinson's, who I believe are still open with the whole lockdown and everything. It just feels like a moisturizer. Kind of feels a little bit like the Too Faced Hangover RX, whatever it's called, that primer. Yeah, it gives me similar kind of vibes to that, just very, very hydrating, very easy to apply things on top, kind of smooths out any dry skin. So then if you want something a little bit more oily, this is a pretty good dupe for the Farsali Rose Gold Elixir stuff. It's not the same. The Farsali one is more of like a skincare-y sort of situation. This one is more just like, okay, you want that effect, you want that look. It's gonna hydrate your skin, it's an oil, but it is this one from MUA. It's called the Pro Base Primer Oil with Gold Flakes. This is actually the second one that I've gone through, but yeah, it's like super hydrating. It's just like a facial oil. I mean, that's basically what it is. So if you don't like your base to look super dewy, you might not like this, but if you have really, really dry skin, using this underneath your foundation, even if it's a matte one, it'll go on so much more smoothly because it does obviously give like a little bit of a slip to your base. So yeah, this one if you wanna look glowy, this one if you wanna be hydrated, and this one if you wanna be like mega hydrated, borderline looking a little bit wet. I like that look, okay? All right, so next move on to foundation. So of course I have to mention one that was in my 2020 favorites, the Body Collection Illuminating Foundation. Listen, I did a sponsored video with them. I did, so you're only gonna believe me a certain amount. This stuff is like £4. Again, you can get it in Wilko, easy to get hold of at the moment, and it's such a good foundation. It's like a medium to full coverage, glowy, but when you set it down, you can mattify it quite a lot without it looking like cakey. Like I did a pretty major shoot the other day and I've got so many favorites from like over the years. I chose this foundation over everything else at the moment because I'm just so damn obsessed with it. All right, so my next two foundations are both from Primark. So we'll start off with this guy here. This one was very, very popular as like a dupe for Estee Lauder Double Wear. I won't lie, I actually prefer this one, not just because of the price tag, but I do just find that it doesn't look as like intense as double wear can do sometimes. This shade here right now in Toffee is way too dark for me at the moment, but I can lighten it quite a lot with my drops. But yeah, it's just so good. Again, medium to full coverage. It's a bit more matte than all the other foundations we're gonna be showing you guys. But yeah, I know this was a favorite of so many people when it first launched, and I still use it. Like the only reason I don't use it that much right now is because it's too dark for me, but it's really, really good. Then we have a foundation stick that I swear no one ever really spoke about. I'm pretty sure you can still get it. I know Primarks are always different, like some Primarks have some stock, some don't. But yeah, this here is the My Perfect Color Moisturizing Foundation Stick. And again, it's too dark for me at the moment, but it's the creamiest foundation stick I've probably ever tried. But yeah, this stuff blends out so nicely. Good coverage, a lot more dewy than this one. I mean, it says on the stick, it's moisturizing, it is a lot more dewy and glowy, but I love it so much. Again, just powder it down just enough so it still looks very healthy. It's still kind of like movable. Yeah, I'm honestly shocked that no one ever really talks about this because it was and is just a banging foundation stick. Next is another foundation that just scrapes in at exactly £5. So this is the MUA Pro Base one. It's the long wear matte finish foundation. Again, this one is a little bit more matte. I normally go for something dewy, but I still love it. Like normally what I would do is I would wear like one of those moisturizing primers underneath, or like that oil primer that actually works really well with this. Pop this on top, make sure that I use quite like a hydrating concealer. And then I make sure not to powder it down too much. And again, it just looks bloody flawless. It's quite a thick product, like it literally comes with a spatula, but don't be fooled by that because it does blend out really, really nicely as long as your skin is like nice and moisturized. Again, like I hear people talking about this, but I don't hear people talking about it that much because it's so good. And a £5. I mean, to be honest, a lot of the products that I'm featuring today, they don't get enough credit. They're like hardworking, super affordable products, and I just want to tell the world. All right, so next we move on to concealer. So first of all, I have this one from Essence. It's the Camouflage Concealer. They do a matte version, then they also do this version, which is a little bit more hydrating. This works so well for both like no makeup. Like if I'm literally just like running out the door and I'm looking at myself thinking, you need to cover that up, then I will just use this and it blends out so easily and doesn't look too much. But also if you want it to look too much, this on like a full glam, it just looks flawless. And it even says on the lid, I haven't fully tested this out, but it says waterproof and tattoo covering. Let's like try and get rid of this little guy arm. Okay, it's not fully covered, but give me a couple of layers and we can get rid of this little guy's arm. Sorry, mate, I'll give you your arm back. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily tattoo covering, but it covers pretty much everything else. Then I thought I would quickly share with you guys an old fave, an OG, something I actually have on my face right now, because as you may be able to recognize, I'm wearing the same makeup that I did in my collection testing video, or like half my makeup. Like here upwards. But yeah, of course I had to give a quick little shout out to the Lasting Perfection Concealer from Collection. An OG, it's quite matte. I really like it on my face right now. Generally speaking, like I would choose other concealers over this, but if you do like something a lot more matte, which I know like the majority of you guys do, this is so good. Next up is another concealer that not too many people talk about. It's just this guy from Wet n Wild. It's called the Photo Focus, I think. Yeah, Photo Focus Concealer. This one is a bit more natural. It does give you coverage. It's like a medium sort of coverage, so not necessarily as full as the other ones. But this one again is really, really good. If you're just like running out the door, you want a little bit of something that just blends out really nicely, really quickly. It doesn't look patchy, it doesn't look weird. And then another old favorite of mine from way back in the day is the Saved by the Gel Concealer from W7. I'm pretty sure you can only really get this on like a few select websites, but it's still 100% worth having in your collection. So this one here is even more hydrating than the other one. So again, this is the kind of thing that I would use if I just am like running out and about, if I do just want more of a natural makeup look. Or normally what I would do is I don't necessarily use this on its own, like under my eyes, but I'd probably use something like by Under Eye and then do like a little bit of highlighting, a little bit of like just general like midsection concealing with this. And it just never looks too much. It doesn't look too heavy or anything like that. You can layer it and layer it and layer it, and it just works. Again, more people need to talk about this concealer. No one does. All right, so next I want to touch on a couple of affordable loose powders. So you guys know me, like it is very hard to please me in terms of powders. I find they're usually too matte, too heavy, and yeah, it's just tricky to please me basically. But these, I'm not saying they're my most favorite powders of all time. However, if you're on a budget and if you've only got like less than £5 to spend on a powder, these are up there. I've tried some powders that are like 10 times the price of these, and these still come out higher than the other ones. I'm not sitting here and saying that it's beating my Laura Mercier powder or my Huda Beauty one or anything like that, but they're probably like, if they're not in my top 10, they're probably in like my top 20. So the first one I have is this MUA loose powder. I mean, there's not really too much to say about all of these, to be honest. They're all kind of like matte enough without looking cakey, without doing like weird like creasy stuff on your under eyes or over spots or anything. These two in particular are quite similar. So we have the MUA loose setting powder and then the Essence All About Matte fixing powder. This one's like super finely milled, so it's gonna give you kind of like that HD powder finish. And then we also have this little number from Essence, which I tried out fairly recently. Now I don't normally like tinted powders at all. You can see this one it's pretty tinted. This one is realistically too dark for me to use on my under eyes right now, but all over the face, it just makes your skin look kind of airbrushed. And yeah, all three of these powders say they're mattifying, but they're never like mattifying in a dry way. They're just like somewhere in between. Okay, they're not my favorite powders of all time, but like I said, if you are looking for something on a budget, these hold their own. Next, I have two setting sprays. I'm sure you will remember this one. I basically drank this one and I will do it again. I don't care. I'm gonna look you in the eyes when I do it. Tastes delicious. Tastes like freaking watermelon. It's good. I mean, it says no microplastic particles, minerals, parabens, silicons. It's vegan. Why the hell can't I drink it? We're not going through this again, but I would drink this. I mean, I'm just reading the caution bit right now and it says keep eyes and mouth closed. And if it gets into your eyes, please rinse them thoroughly with water. So I shouldn't drink it, but I did and I would again. This is such a good setting spray just to like mesh everything into your skin. I'm not saying it's necessarily gonna make your makeup last forever and ever. The best fixing spray that I've tried for that is unfortunately the Urban Decay All Nighter. I say unfortunately because it's not the cheapest, it's not under $5, but like it's still gonna keep your makeup on for longer than if you weren't gonna use it. You can use it as a primer, it makes you look glowy, it just kind of like helps to set your face down and not make it look too matte. And did I mention it tastes good? I'm not sure I did. And then we have this guy here from MUA. They do a bunch of different ones, but this one here is just the original fixing spray. I've also tried the cooling one, which is really nice. I'm not gonna sit here and say that either of these setting sprays is gonna rival Urban Decay All Nighter because honestly it's not. Like I think that stuff is just the best and nothing can really match it. However, this stuff does keep your makeup on for a lot longer again than if you were to not use it. It's got a nice mist as well, like it's not too much. And yeah, overall, like not necessarily life-changing, but a good setting spray. Then I did just want to quickly touch on this guy here from the Body Collection. It's just their liquid highlighter. This is in like the bronzy shade, I think, but they also do like a pinky version. It's pretty hard to find liquid highlighters that don't look like super glittery or don't like blend out like crap, especially for under $5, but this one's good. It's got like that oily texture, so it does blend out really nicely, whether it's like underneath powder or over the top. I mean, I'll just swatch this for you quickly. Just here, just so you guys can see. It just gives such a nice finish. Hopefully you guys can kind of see that there, but it's just super shiny. It's not glittery, it's not patchy or anything like that. It's just a really, really good illuminator. And yeah, again, you can get that in Wilko. I then have a bunch of different bronzers that honestly, they all kind of do the same thing. I like what I like when it comes to bronzers, so the fact that I'm like lumping all these together means they all kind of do the same thing. So first of all, we have the Body Collection Matte Bronzer. I just love the color of this. I love that it's not too pigmented. It blends out really nicely. And again, I mean, I could say the same for pretty much all of these. They're all like the same kind of tone, a little bit warm, but not like orange. So we have this one here from Primark. I don't think they do this one anymore, but they always bring out like variants of this bronzer. So this one here was just called the Bronze Queen Matte Bronzer. And yeah, they always bring out like different types of bronzers all the time. So keep your eye out, because they will probably have something very similar to this, and that was £2. Then is this guy here from ASDA's own makeup range. Now, I'm pretty damn certain that they are getting rid of like all of these. However, I have been in a few stores locally, and they do have some bits left on the stand, so this is probably gonna go soon. Next time you're going shopping, if you're like popping into Asda or something, have a little look for this. I never really featured it on my channel that much because number one, it wasn't the easiest thing to get. Like you couldn't really get it online or anything. And number two, like I did know that recently they were going to be getting rid of their stock. But like before lockdown, before COVID and everything, if I was ever like going away, going out or something, a lot of the time I would just chuck this one if I was like going away and chucking it in my suitcase or something, because if it broke, it's super cheap. I can realistically, like at the time, I could really get another one. But yeah, this was another one of those products that I'm just like, why wasn't more people talking about this? Because it's such a good bronzer. So if you can get it, next time you go into Asda, see if they have got like the cosmetic stand still. And if they do have it, pick up a couple, because I wish I could get more. And then another super affordable one is this Natural Collection bronzer. It's not the most pigmented, but you can build it up. So it's like, okay, if you put a little bit extra work in, then you do just get a really, really nice color. And I don't know where it is. I also want to give a shout out to the Poundland bronzer. That stuff's good. Like real good. Again, that's one of those products that I would just like chuck in my bag and use all the time, and I wouldn't really care too much if it broke or anything like that. I think probably the reason I couldn't find it in my drawers because it is in some handbag somewhere, but that stuff is also really, really good. So yeah, these bronzers all kind of fall into the same category because I know what I like, and it's this, not too pigmented, not too warm, matte but not like dry looking. And yeah, these all do that. Next, we'll touch on a few blushes. So this guy here is an old favorite. Again, like when I started my channel, I had no freaking money. And I went and got this because I mean, I still wasn't into blusher that much back in the day. So I did just want something that was fairly subtle, not too in your face, and this is the boy. And I mean, I've definitely got a bit more money now than when I was a student, but I repurchased this around about a year ago and I still freaking love it. I love it. It's just, again, not too pigmented. I mean, you couldn't really want much more from a blusher. This is why I don't really spend much money on blushes in general anyway, because I'm just like, I like this works, and it cost me like £2. And then yeah, the same can be said for this guy here. Not just this one in particular. I have like 3 or 4 different colors of this, but this is from Essence. It's called the Matte Touch Blush. Again, if they don't do this exact one, they do a lot of variants of this kind of thing. But again, these are actually a little bit more pigmented. I'm sorry, I'm so boring when it comes to blusher. I'll just do a swatch there so you can actually maybe see it a bit more. It is pigmented, but again, it's like, it is quite a subtle color, so you don't notice it too much on the skin. And yeah, again, they blend out so nicely. They don't look patchy. They don't look like too much or anything. And then again, like I'm a creature of habit here. So like a lot of these all kind of fall into the same category. These guys ain't that too pigmented either, which is like a positive for me. So this one here is from MUA. It's the Blush Matte Blush Powder in the shade Papaya Whip. It's almost like a corally sort of shade, but it's like, I mean, you can't even see that. What am I doing here? I'm like, did you ever do that? A little like swan. Do you see it? How about these swans? But yeah, that's a really good subtle one as well. And then we have this one here, which again is a recent favorite from Body Collection. This one is more of like a shimmery sort of situation. Reminds me a lot of NARS Orgasm actually. I mean, you might be able to see there again. You can see it has just got like gold reflex in it. The moment you've all been waiting for, cheap ass highlighters. I love it. So first up, let's start off with something that is real cheap. Now granted, you do have to get it from America, and with Brexit and stuff now, like, I don't know what the customs are gonna be like, but this here is like 75p. I actually haven't tried this color before. I had like 2 very, very similar ones, but these are the velour highlighters. I mean, they're literally just like a cream formula, but they are so intense. This one is in the shade Sometimes. So let me just pop that one there. It's nuts, to be quite honest. Like these are so intense. When I was going through my collection, I was like, ooh, I need to put that on my face soon because I forgot how good these were. It was just like scurried at the back of my drawer and I was like, I miss you. Then we have a hair on my face. Then we have another OG fave of many YouTubers when they first started out. So this here is called Blush Gems. I think it's a highlighter. It might even be, I think it's actually considered a blusher, but this is a good highlighter. Now the trick with this, if I show you just there, you can see it's very nice, very pretty. If you get this and you use it and you think that's crap, it's not pigmented at all, you really need to kind of like, you might even be able to see, rub off the top layer there, because otherwise, I think it's just because it's baked, you don't really get that much payoff unless you kind of break through the outer crust, shall we say. But yeah, it's like, it's super intense. And then again, you're gonna struggle to find this one. If you can find it, get it, pick it up. It's so freaking good. Like, I can't even explain it. This is called the Bronze Highlight Baked Bronzer, but this ain't a bronzer, my friend. This is like just this most insane highlighter. I'll swatch it in the other hand so you guys can see. Let's do it here. Look at that. It's nuts. I tried it and I was like, what the hell, ASDA? Like, how the hell are you out here making like highlighters like this? And there are established brands that can't even make something that shimmers on my face. So yeah, this is like a rest in peace kind of moment, but if you can see it, if you can get it, freaking get it, all right? Also had to give a quick mention to this guy from the Body Collection again, which is obviously a fairly recent discovery, but I don't need to try a highlighter too many times to know that I like it. It's just perfect in all honesty. So this here is called Glow Commotion by W7. It's supposed to be a dupe for Mary Luminizer by The Balm. So if I just show you guys that there, hopefully you can see. Let's angle it right with the light. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Just like I'm wanking off the air right now, I'm sorry. And then we have another highlighter that literally no one freaking talks about, and I'm like, are you mad? So this is from Sunkissed. It's called their Baked to Perfection highlighter, and again, it feels like nothing. It doesn't even look very good like in the pan, and then you swatch it and you're just like, wait, where did that come from? I mean, I'll even give you a better shot on this side here. There you go. Look at that. It's like super shimmery, just there. I've never really seen anyone talk about this, and I'm pretty sure you can get it for like £2 or something on Fragrance Direct. Like, it costs about a £5, but more places sell it for under a £5 than not. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw this on Fragrance Direct for like £1.99. Get it. Like, even if you don't use this blusher shade, which it's not for me, but you can see even that is like super pigmented. So like imagine the pigmentation of that, because you can see it a lot easier on camera. Imagine that in a highlighter form. Get it? At this point, I'm just like covered in swatches. Let's then touch on a couple of eyeshadow palettes. So again, a recent contender of mine and a recent favorite are the Body Collection palettes. These I believe cost £2.50 and they come with a couple of mattes and then the rest are shimmers, and these are pigmented. When I tried them, I wasn't expecting much. I was expecting a lot of fallout, and then it was like, there's no faults with this palette. None at all. And then yeah, the same can be said about this palette here, especially this one, which is just such a good neutrals palette from MUA. It's in the shade Matte Soft Suedes. You really just cannot go wrong. Like this shade down here especially, this like cool tone brown, you can see they're so pigmented. They blend out really nicely. And yeah, I do actually use that over some of my high-end palettes sometimes. And now I want to be a little bit cheeky here because I know I only used it literally on my face today, but this palette here from Collection is under a £5, and I know I've only used it once. I've tried out some other Collection palettes before and they've been okay, but this one, I don't know what they've done differently, but the shadows are so nice. I won't lie, they're not the most pigmented in the world. Like they're pretty pigmented. If I just swatch this one here and let's do it like there. I mean, they're pigmented enough. I'd say it's just most of the shimmers that you maybe need to go in with like 2 layers. But the way that these blend, the way they look, again, I've had this on my eyes for 12 hours now and there's been no fallout, nothing like that. I think these are a good shout. And then a similar kind of situation for this palette here from Essence, but in general, like Essence palettes, like Essence everything is super, super affordable, and generally speaking, like I just love their brand. But yeah, this palette here is one of those ones that's like, it's not the most pigmented. Put in like a little bit of extra effort and you get the same kind of effect. It's like a super high-end palette. I did struggle initially with this shade in my video when I first tried it out, but honestly, if you just layer it up a little bit, use a tacky base, something like that, then they work absolutely fine. It's basically like, if you're okay with putting in like a little extra effort, then these palettes perform. You just have to put in like an extra couple of minutes of blending and that's it. Okay, and then I want to give a little shout out to the Poundland quads. So these are acquids and they're not gonna be the best eyeshadow palette you've ever used, but these hold their own. Like these are actually creamier than some of those eyeshadows. I feel like if you just have a good bronzer or something in your crease, like look, I need to stop swatching everything because I'm just becoming a mess, but I mean, they're pigmented shadows and they're just nice. People always overlook it because they're like, oh, like Poundland, but I'm like, no, 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 no. If you're on a budget, or even if you're not on a budget and you just want to like try out a cheap ass product, try these, because actually they're pretty good. This one especially, I can't say too much about the other ones. I think I've tried out one of the other ones, but this one here, just the cool tone silver shades, if that's what you're after. If you also just want like a black eyeshadow, like this guy here, come on. I know it's not always about finger swatches and stuff, but at the end of the day, if you're just careful with where you blend it, like we need to give a bit more appreciation to Poundland makeup because some of their stuff bangs. Like I don't have it with me right now. They're little like, what are they called? Like the lip creams, like the NYX ones. Their version of those, they're acquids and they are literally identical to some of the NYX ones. They only have like 5 colors or something, but if you can find your color, they're literally bang on. So then I want to touch on a couple of mascaras, not necessarily like the individual mascara, but some brands. My favorite brands for like super affordable mascaras. Anytime someone's in my DMs and they're like, I need a new mascara, what can you recommend that's super cheap? I'm like, head on down to either Primark or Wilko and get yourself one of their mascaras because they are so good. Like this one here from Essence was my OG. Like I definitely need to throw this away. I don't know how, it's actually still like wet. This should be dried out by now. But yeah, I don't even know if they still do this one. It's the Rock and Doll Crazy XXXL volume. And they ain't lying. Other faves from Essence is this range here, like in these kind of tubes. They do like different colors and stuff. This one, What the Fake, is really good. And then of course we have to talk about Lash Princess. Everyone's always like, Steph, you need to try it. And I'm like, boy, I've been trying it for like years and years and years. And I love this shit. Pretty sure the green one is my favorite out of all the colors. Again, I think they do like purple, pink, maybe blue and green. But yeah, again, these are like £3 or something nuts. And they fully do rival some of my more high-end mascaras. And then again, not necessarily these two in particular, but Primark mascaras, especially if you can find the ones with the plastic wands, if that's what you're into. Like Primark mascaras need to get more credit because they are so, I mean, I'm bored of just saying good because everything that I'm showing in this video is good. That's the whole point of it. But they give you so much volume. Like this guy here, look at this wand. It's like this plastic wand. And they do so many different types. They're always changing it around. They're always adding new ones. And again, these are usually like £2.50. I think I've tried a lot of Primark mascaras over the past like few years. And I think I've maybe disliked like 1 or 2. But even then, I didn't like hate it. It just wasn't as good as the other ones that I tried. Because the majority of them, I'm like, whoa. So then I'll quickly touch on a couple of brow products, and by a couple, I mean like 6 or 7. So first of all, I want to start off with a couple of brow gels. This clear one for body collection, it ain't game changing, but it's good enough. Like this sticks your brow hairs down, not to the point where it's like they'll never move, but I mean, it does kind of everything you would want a brow gel to do. So like the brow setter is my favorite, but in terms of like a standard brow gel that holds your brow hairs in place enough, this is just as good as like some of the ones that cost like 15 quids. And I'm pretty sure this is like £2 or something. Then just because I did want to feature a brow gel, I have this one from Revolution. I won't say that I'm like in love with this. I don't think it's the best brow gel ever, but I think you can get like a good effect from it. I will just run it through there right now because my brows haven't got too much in them right now. But yeah, it's like subtle enough. You just have to make sure that you use a light hand. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of does the job. Like I said, I'm not sitting here and saying this is like the best of all time and amazing. However, I couldn't really find too many brow gels that were under a £5 that didn't suck. And yeah, this one's just decent enough. So if you need to tint your brows, ta-da! I then have a couple of brow pencils. I thought I had more, but turns out these are lip liners. Okay, this one from Primark. Again, I have turned so many of my friends onto this guy because I'm just like, I mean, what more could you want really? It's a super, super skinny brow pencil that is pigmented, but not like creamy, and it's not gonna like rub off or anything. And the color here, the dark brown one that they do, is like the perfect match to my brows. Comes with a little spoolie on the side as well, which is just a nice little addition. Yeah, I've tried out the Anastasia brow pencils. I've tried out like everything in between, and I'm just like, okay, but I can get it for £2 at Primark. So I actually have a few of these as backup because I'm scared that they're gonna discontinue them. And then again, similar sort of situation, both the same kind of brow pencils. We have this one from Essence. It's the, what is it even called? The Micro Precise. So this one again just has this tiny little tip, and you can see this one's a bit more of like a lighter brown there. But yeah, same kind of idea. This one's just a little twist up. And then we also have this one from Catrice, which is very, very similar to this one's run out because I finished it. Okay, I'm popping that in the empties pile. But yeah, the Slimmatic Ultra Precise Brow Pencil, very, very similar to wherever it's gone. The Primark one, literally like pretty much identical, even like down to packaging actually. I'm like, huh? And then one more thing, again, got it on my eyeballs right now. This is like a newer color that I've been trying, but I have again been using these literally since I was like 14 or 15. The Glam Crystals from Collection. If you want glitter, if you want something that's easy, you don't want to faff around with like a pot and then like a glitter adhesive, get these damn things. They do tons of colors now. Like when I first started using them, I swear they had like 2 colors that was like silver and gold. But yeah, these glitters just make everything so much easier. They don't feel like anything on your lid. Like I have it on right now, and they're not like crusty or crispy, or they don't have any fallout or anything. They're just a banging glitter. There's a reason why like they've literally been going since I was like 14 or before. And it's because they're just good products. So if you do want a glitter, if you can't bother with faffing around with like little pots of glitter, like I said, or glue or whatever, yeah, check these out. And again, you can usually find them in a lot of supermarkets as well. So then last but not least, I will touch on some lip products. So first of all, just quickly start with some lip liners. Again, they all do the same kind of things because that's what I like. They're all like creamy but not slippy. They're waxy but not dry. They're just the kind of lip pencil where you can apply them easily, but then they also stay, and that's what I like. So the first one that I have here is from Rimmel. It's the Exaggerate lip liner. I'll just do a little swatch of that one here. Like, it's not even necessarily about the color, but I do really like that color. But it's just about how pigmented they are, how nicely they go on, and they've got a little twist up as well. You don't have to sharpen it. We have Primark lip liners. Again, these are pretty damn sick. They do vary in terms of packaging, but generally speaking, from my own personal experience, they do tend to be the same kind of product. So some of them are twist ups, some of them are in like black pencils, some of them are like this. But again, you can just see like they're creamy, but they're not slippy or anything. And yeah, this one's £1, man. Like, it's so cheap. Literally go in and buy like every shade you want and you're kind of set for life. Then we have Barry M lip liners, which again, I don't hear much about, but these guys, like, I really, really rate these. I can't remember the color that I like, but there's like 2 nude shades that I just love. These are more waxy, so they might not necessarily feel as creamy to apply, but they will stay on your lips for a lot longer than some of the other ones. And then of course, how could I not mention the NYX lip liners? These guys are affordable. They literally perform like they're high end. They're like a MAC lip pencil or something. They're not too creamy. They're not too waxy. They are pigmented. They come in so many colors. Like, you can literally find like bright blue, green, black, nude, red, purple, whatever you want. Yeah, I literally think these perform like MAC lip liners, to be honest, and they're like for £4. And then a couple of lipsticks, not necessarily in terms of color, but like, to be fair, I do really like the color of all these lipsticks, but also just in terms of like this brand and just like these style of lipsticks. First of all, kind of like a liquid lipstick sort of situation. Again, like I was saying about the ones from Poundland, these ones from W7, again, are so similar to the NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams. I mean, the NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams aren't super expensive. I think they're like £6 or something, but I didn't want to cheat. So I was like, okay, I'll show you a dupe, but you can see it there. It's just like a really nice matte nude shade, really comfortable on the lips. And yeah, these are just called the Mega Matte Lips, and they come in like a bunch of different nudie shades. And then of course, Primark coming through again with the goods. So all of their lipsticks pretty much, they're all kind of the same. Some of them are a bit more matte, some of them are a little bit more creamy, some cost like £1 extra, and I feel like they're a little bit more premium. Some of them are just super cheap, but they're still like really good lipsticks. I feel like this one maybe costs like £1.50 or something. It's just a matte lipstick in the shade Naked, and it's just, I mean, I can put some on now. This one is quite matte. So like, I would normally like to put a bit of lip balm with it. Because when these say they're matte, they are like super, super matte. But yeah, just Primark lipsticks in general, you really can't go wrong. Same goes for Essence lipsticks. This one here is the This Is Me lipstick. So I'll pop some of that on as well over the top, because what do I got to lose? These are a little bit more hydrating. But again, I have tried out probably all of Essence lipsticks at this point, and they literally never disappoint. Always pigmented. If they're matte, they're matte. If they're creamy, they're creamy. And then last but not least, we have these guys from Barry M. This one in particular in the shade 182. Again, it's such a nice nude color. So let's swatch that one like here, for example. It's like, it's creamy, but it still gives a matte effect. So basically you've got this one, which is more of like a creamy finish. The Primark ones, which are a lot more matte. And then you have this one here, which is like somewhere in between. I'll even chuck a little bit of that on my lips as well. Just such a good nude color. And yeah, I think that's kind of it. I feel like I can take a breath now. So yeah, guys, those are some of my favorite products for under £5. I'm sure I've missed something out, but I can always do like another one of these videos at some point if you guys want. Please let me know your affordable favorites in the comment section down below. It doesn't necessarily have to be under £5, but just like, just cheap shit. I love it. You guys all know the drill by now. If you did enjoy this video or if you found it helpful or whatever, please do give it a big thumbs up, because it really does help me out a lot. And also subscribe if you do want to see more of me, because I upload every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. But apart from that, that is it from me. I love you guys. I feel like I can take a breath now, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.